We always think the war for talent is won in the interview. But what if I told you the most critical battle is actually fought after the offer letter is signed? Today, we're diving into strategic onboarding, and I'm not talking about an HR checklist. I'm talking about one of the most powerful and frankly overlooked competitive advantages a company can have. Let's get into why that first impression is literally everything.
So let me ask you this. What if your biggest business risk is actually your newest hire? It's a wild thought, right? You've just spent weeks, maybe months, and a ton of money to land some amazing talent. You're pumped, they're excited, but the moment they walk in the door, a clock starts ticking. And the risk of losing that massive investment? Well, it's way higher than you think.
And believe me, that clock ticks fast. A staggering 20% of all employee turnover happens within the first 45 days. Just think about that for a second. That's such a tiny window where that first impression hardens into a lasting reality.
And that danger zone, it's much bigger than you'd guess. Nearly 90% of employees decide whether they're going to stay or leave within their first 6 months. For better or for worse, that onboarding experience is what sets the entire tone.
So, what's the real cost if you get this wrong? Well, when an employee walks out, replacing them can cost up to 200% of their annual salary. I mean, do the math. For someone making 80 grand a year, that's a $160,000 hit to the business, from recruiting costs, training, lost productivity, the whole shebang. This isn't just an HR headache, it's a huge financial liability.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain on our first section here, the hidden cost of poor onboarding. Because a weak start doesn't just lose you a new hire, it creates these damaging ripple effects that you might not even see coming.
I love this analogy. It's called the leaky bucket problem. Picture this. Your recruitment team is working their tails off, pouring all this top-tier talent into the company bucket. But if your onboarding process has holes in it, if it's disorganized, confusing, or just cold, that amazing talent leaks right out the bottom. All that effort, all that money, just wasted.
And the damage goes way beyond just one empty desk. A bad onboarding experience? That tarnishes your brand when that person tells their friends about it. It obviously drives up your recruiting costs. It's a huge drag on team morale when people see a revolving door. And here's a big one. It creates major security risks when people who aren't trained properly get access to your systems. It's a problem that touches everything.
Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. Let's totally flip the script. Because if the cost of bad onboarding is high, the strategic payoff of great onboarding is, well, it's astronomical. This is where you build a real, lasting competitive edge.
Now, just look at these numbers. The scale of improvement here is just incredible. A huge study found that organizations with a strong, structured onboarding process improve their new hire retention by a massive 82%. This is not some tiny incremental gain. We're talking about a game-changing transformation for your workforce stability. And the benefits just keep stacking up over time. Employees who get a great onboarding are 58% more likely to still be with the company 3 years later. You see a productivity boost of over 70%, and get this, they are a staggering 18 times more likely to feel deeply committed to the organization. This is how you create long-term, high-performing, loyal team members. And this just nails the point about the power of having a system. It's not about random acts of kindness, it's about a standardized, repeatable process. Harvard Business Review found that simply having a standard process led to 50% greater new hire productivity. Consistency really is everything. So what does this look like in the real world? Let's take a peek at a classic example from Google. It shows how unbelievably simple changes can produce absolutely outsized results. So Google tested out this simple 5-point checklist that was just emailed to managers the day before a new hire started. And look, this is not rocket science, right? It's discuss their role, match them with a buddy, help them build a network, set up check-ins, and encourage open conversation. These are basic, human-centered steps. And the result of that simple little checklist? New hires reached full productivity 25% faster. That means they were fully up to speed an entire month sooner than their peers. A simple email led to a massive productivity win. That's the power of being intentional with onboarding.
Okay, so we've nailed the why. Now let's get into the how. In Section 3, we're going to open up the modern playbook for designing a truly world-class onboarding program.
First things first, we have to recognize the huge shift from then to now. The old way, it was a mountain of manual paperwork,
inconsistent delivery, it was just slow and frustrating for everyone. The modern digital approach uses automated workflows to make sure every single new hire gets a consistent, efficient, and streamlined experience that also bakes in security from day one.
You know, a core best practice is to extend onboarding way beyond day one. The 30, 60, 90-day plan is just a fantastic framework. The first month is all about learning and integrating. The second month is about contributing and training. And by month 3, the focus shifts to taking initiative and getting that first round of formal feedback. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And here are a few other keys that are absolutely crucial. Start before day 1 with pre-boarding to build excitement and calm those nerves. Make culture a priority, not an afterthought. And please, for the love of all that is holy, have their laptop and logins ready immediately. Assign them a buddy for all the silly questions they're afraid to ask their boss. And finally, gather feedback so you can constantly make the whole process better.
Okay, this all leads us to our final section, your new competitive edge. It's time to stop thinking about onboarding as some administrative chore and start seeing it for what it is, a core pillar of your entire talent strategy.
So let me just say this as clearly as I can. Onboarding is not an HR checklist. It is the very first, and you could argue the most critical phase of talent development. It's where you actually deliver on all the promises you made during recruiting, and it's where you set the foundation for a long, productive relationship.
And this isn't just an HR thing. I mean, look at who benefits from this. HR leaders get higher retention and a stronger brand. Managers get productive team members way faster. Your CISO gets better security compliance. And executives, they get exactly what they want, a stable, engaged, and high-performing workforce. It's a win-win-win-win across the board.
What you end up creating is this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle of success. A great experience leads to high engagement. High engagement drives better performance and longer retention. That strengthens your employer brand, which in turn helps you attract even more top talent. Your investment on day 1 literally pays dividends for years to come. So, we'll leave you with this one final thought. Take a really hard look at how your organization welcomes new people. Is it just an administrative task to be checked off a list, or are you intentionally designing it to be your most powerful and sustainable strategic advantage? The choice really is yours. Thanks for tuning in.